And finally, we have the hardest question on the test, the extra credit question, question 11. So we are in a set with a binary operation, and we have these two funny properties that, first of all, any element times itself is itself. So that's kind of funky. And then also we have that any three elements multiplied together this way is the same as the same three elements, but multiplied together in a rather different way. So it's kind of like associativity, but it's definitely not, right? They're in a different order than before. Okay, so with those two properties, then we got to prove that. Oh, it looks like there's a typo here. That shouldn't say G. That should say S. Then the operation is associative and commutative. Okay, so this is a hard question. This is a very hard question. We are not in a group here, right? We're just in an arbitrary set, and the operation satisfies those two properties. It does not necessarily satisfy all the properties of being a group. So you can't say anything about the identity. You can't do anything with inverses. We don't have any of those things here. So what do we know? Just that stuff at the top. So I'm going to show you, there's only one student who got full points, and they found this pretty short path to get there. I guess I should have put my colors here. Whoops. And here's how they did it. So at the beginning, they're trying to show that it's commutative, so that xy equals to yx. And here's what they did. So first they labeled these two properties 1 and 2, which is great. So first they used property 1 to turn that x into an xx. And then they used property 2 to look at it this way. They said, well, let's use the same, color scheme as before. You got three elements like that. The first two are in parentheses. Well, according to property 2, you can replace those like that. So the blue element first, and then the green element, those two are in parentheses, and then the red element at the end, right? And then they used property 1 to turn y into yy again. Now again, these moves seem like totally random. They seem random to me, but somehow this person realized that this was the path to get to yx, so great job. So they used property 2 again like this, right? So that's x times, so that's red times blue in parentheses, and then times green. So this time the blue element is yy. And you can replace that with blue times green in parentheses times x, right? So that's exactly what they did. And then they did it again. They said blue times green in parentheses times red. That's the same, nope, I messed it up. Red times blue in parentheses times green. That's the same as blue now wait a second. No, that's not what they did, sorry. They're looking just on the inside here. So that's red, blue, green, like that. So just inside these parentheses, they applied rule 2, which says that red, blue, green, like that, is the same as red on the outside, like that, and then blue and green on the inside, like that. All right. So that's rule 2. And then they kept going like that. One second. They use rule 2 one more time to say that's red, blue, green, and then swapping them around according to rule 2 would leave you with blue, green in parentheses, and then red on the outside. And then finally, If you look at what it says there, that says yx times yx. And we know that, according to rule 1, anything times itself is itself, including yx. So yx times itself equals yx. So there you go. Brilliant solution by this student. Most people didn't get this. I wouldn't have gotten this either, frankly. The professor sent me his solution, and I found it incredibly confusing. I don't know. I mean, I can kind of follow it, but it's definitely confusing, especially typed out. So maybe it would make more sense if it was written out. But this person seems to have found an even shorter solution than that. So excellent work. And then finally, once you have once you have commutativity, that was the hard part. Now associativity is pretty easy, right? So they're starting with, you're trying to show that that's the same as that. And that's exactly what they accomplished. First, they used rule 2 to make that swap. And then, why am I stuck in here? So first they use rule 2 to make that swap, and then because they've already proved commutativity, they can simply take this x and move it over there, right? Because we already know that we're in a commutative group. Sorry, not a group. We already know that the operation is commutative. We are not in a group. Let me make that clear. Not necessarily anyway, right? We don't have identity or inverses or anything like that. So there you go. So this person just showed, using only those two properties at the top, properties 1 and 2, that xy equals yx, and also xy times z equals x times yz, right? And so they have proven that this operation is associative and commutative. So well done. That was very difficult. This is the only person to get full points on that question. So if you didn't get this one, don't feel bad. It was very hard. Okay, and that is the exam. Grades should be out in a moment. All right, see you for the next one.